and this is your this is your columella, isn't it? This is your dorsum and this is your columella, and you don't want that dorsum and columella to collapse. That is why what you are doing is you are leaving this L-shaped cartilage behind. Okay, you are cutting all the cartilage behind this one, and you are just leaving this L-shaped cartilage because you don't want nose to collapse. Okay. On contrary, whenever we talk about septoplasty is a surgery. It's a conservative surgery. And what is that conservative surgery? We just resect the part which is just having the DNS. We are just resecting the part which is deviated. Okay, that is known as septoplasty. Okay, SMR is actually you kill the cartilage. SMR means you kill the cartilage. Why you kill the cartilage? You are removing all the cartilage. That is, you are killing all the cartilage. That is why you give Killian's incision. This is the method by which you remember. Okay, so it is Killian's incision that is given in the case of SMR. But in the case of septoplasty, you are giving which incision?
Freres.
Freres incision. Very good. It is Freres incision. So Killian's incision, SMR. Freres incision, septoplasty. Are we clear till here? One more thing that we have to understand when we talk about septoplasty and SMR is the complications. Whenever you talk about septoplasty, it consists of very less complication. Okay, but SMR, a lot of complications and revision surgeries. Like for example, you will have a DNS, and you just went for a resection of the cartilage. Now you develop a septal hematoma. So what is the septal hematoma? Septal hematoma, the most important cause for septal hematoma is trauma. Trauma that can be an iatrogenic trauma, or that can be a trauma induced by certain other objects. Okay. So if it's an iatrogenic trauma, that is, I performed an SMR and tomorrow in the morning there's development of a septal abscess, and eventually it has lead to the necrosis of this L-shaped cartilage. So you can just augment something here. Okay, it's a big nose, right? So revision surgeries is easy in the case of septoplasty. It's difficult in the case of SMR. Clear? Okay. Now understand. Septoplasty is done in someone who is less than 17 years of age. Why? Because the ossification centers in the nose are, they are developing at the age, till the age of 17 years. But after 17 years, they stop developing. That is why it's SMR after 17 years. Septoplasty before 17 years. There's one thing that there is three cottals in ENT. Never forget 3 cottals in ENT. One is the cottal sign. Cottal sign is what? What is cottal sign? Okay, tell me what is cottal sign. I want my students to tell me what is cottal sign.
Cottal taste मात्रै थाहा छ.
Okay, you know cottal sign. Very good. What is cottal sign? Okay, it's trying to say, but slightly improvement is required. So the thing is, there is an anterior nasal spine and there is this frontal spine. Okay. Anterior nasal spine and frontal spine. If there is, you draw a tangent line between the anterior nasal spine and the frontal spine. If there is a deviation, anything in front of the cottal line, then you can go for septoplasty. You have to only go for septoplasty. You can't do SMR. But after the cottal line, you can either do SMR or you can either do septoplasty. Are we clear to here?
Orco cottals.
Second cottals, very good. Second cottals is cottals test. Cottals test means 2 fingers, you just push it laterally, and then you have, if there's blockage at the lamin nasite, and it becomes patent. Okay. Second one is Cottle's classification. Cottle's classification is the classification for DNS. So it might be DNS, maybe in asymptomatic DNS. It can be DNS which becomes okay after you apply a nasal decongestants like tell me, oxymetazoline and xylometazoline. Okay. And second, last one is actually DNS, which has totally occluded the nose. Now you can't, there's no treatment. Even if you use this oxymetazoline, it does not heal. So in the case of this last type of DNS, where you are using oxymetazoline, and even after using oxymetazoline, it doesn't improve. In this case, you have to do surgery. Okay, you have to do surgery.
Classification test or line thing.
Okay.
Cottle's classification.
Okay, now we will discuss that later, don't worry. Now let's come to next topic, okay? So SMR, we have discussed all this, okay, and septoplasty, we have discussed all this. What is the most common complication after any kind of this surgeries? Tell me complications?
Bleeding.
Okay, bleeding is one of the most important complications, septal hematoma. Okay, bleeding, and after bleeding, that bleeding accumulates, leading to hematoma. If that hematoma is not intervened in time, it can lead to abscess. If that abscess is not intervened in time, it will lead to
Perforation.
necrosis. It will lead to necrosis. Okay, after necrosis, everything is gone. Okay, you are also okay. Perforation is also one of the cause, but the major thing, whenever you talk about perforation, you should not miss foreign body. You should not miss abscess. Okay, abscess can also cause perforation, and you should not miss certain diseases like Wegener's granulomatosis and TB. Okay, these diseases can cause perforation, and there is bony perforation as well as cartilaginous perforation, which there are different organisms for that. We'll talk about that later. Now let's come to the signs and symptoms of DNS. So anyone who is suffering from DNS, what can be the signs and symptoms? So signs and symptoms will be similar to that of rhinosinusitis. Why similar to that of rhinosinusitis? Because see, DNS means there's a deviation. There's a deviation. Because of that deviation, what is happening is because of that deviation, the